You're listening to the Cyberwire Network, powered by N2K.
Maybe that's an urgent message from your CEO, or maybe it's a deepfake trying to target your business. Doppel is the AI-native social engineering defense platform fighting back against impersonation and manipulation. As attackers use AI to make their tactics more sophisticated, Doppel uses it to fight back, from automatically dismantling cross-channel attacks to building team resilience and more. Doppel, outpacing what's next in social engineering. Learn more at doppel.com. That's DOPPEL.com.
My name is Mark Logan, and I'm the CEO of One Identity. I would say that I was always a competitive person. I played some college sports, and I wasn't very talented, but I did end up matriculating to be our co-captain my senior year. So there might have been a little bit of leadership that was in the DNA. Well, I was not strong in all subjects, but I had a bit of a penchant for math and sciences. So when I headed to college, I dove into engineering. And then as I got through college, I saw the intersection point between business and the technical side of things. So I ended up graduating with a double major in engineering and in business management. So of course, I wasn't in a management role right out of school, but over time, I really leaned on some of the early on foundational skills. I was with Hewlett-Packard for 6 or 7 years, and HP was pretty wedded to hardware. And I'm dating myself a bit. We're going back to the late 80s. And that's when there was really a pivot to enterprise software and relational databases and so forth. So I made the pivot. Tough decision to leave HP, but the right decision. And got into software. I worked for a couple of large software companies, Sybase being one of them, one of the true leading RDBMSs. And then myself and 4 colleagues from Sybase co-founding a CRM business. So I went from these companies that had tens of thousands of employees that were publicly traded to just 5 of us. And it was both any given day exhilarating and terrifying. We ended up with a very good exit, and we were acquired by a large enterprise software firm. And I had the good fortune of that background. And I also had the good fortune of having worked shoulder to shoulder with the other co-founders for a number of years. And you need a lot of trust. You need to trust work ethic and integrity and character of those you go into business with. Over time, you get recruited to various other startups. But if I were to offer any advice to anybody, if you're going to make that leap from a secure, larger public company to a less secure, smaller startup environment, boy, you really need to have that deep embedded trust with those that you go into business with. I ended up staying at J.D. Edwards. And what I think is also noteworthy is some people find a company sale as a little bit scary. And for us at Ucentric, it was a wonderful career opportunity for virtually every one of our couple hundred employees. It's actually, you take advantage of those opportunities. Of course, I could have elected to leave, but in this case, they rolled out the red carpet for us. And it was really a good experience. Then ultimately, that company got acquired. I did ultimately decide to leave to take my first CEO opportunity about 20 years ago. And they were the venture capital investors that were hiring. Again, if I were offering advice, don't be afraid to join small companies. This was the second time I joined a fairly small company. But it was a great run. I spent years and years there as the CEO. After Rivermind, I was fortunate enough to be recruited for 2 other CEO roles and 1 role as the president of a public company called Attunity. And more recently, I was the CEO of a cybersecurity company that is owned by Thoma Bravo. Spent some time there, and then the One Identity opportunity came up. And it really checked all the boxes. So the timing, the market, the industry, the products, everything really came together for this opportunity. I've never been at a company, including Hewlett-Packard, in which the engineering team said, we're good. We have all of the resources we need. And I've never been in a company where the product team said, we're good. We don't need to develop anything else. We've got all the functionality we need. So there's always more. There's always a need for more resources, more capabilities, et cetera. So one of the key jobs here is to prioritize and determine what you are and you aren't going to do. I think there's a famous Steve Jobs quote that says just that. It's not what I say yes to, it's what I say no to, because you can't say yes to every initiative, even though I might get presented with a dozen initiatives any given week or month. They're all great, but you have to pick the ones that are going to have the highest return for our customers, for our enterprise, and for our team. I've been successful being collaborative, but delegation is also really important. So I guess if you tie back, together with the team and with the board, you set up a series of goals that you're going to march towards over the next year, and the next multiple years. But there are financial goals in any given year. And then you collaborate with the team on almost a daily, weekly, monthly basis on how we're going to attack the market, how are we going to delight our customers, how are we going to grow the business. And then if you have the right people in the right roles with the right expertise and the right tools, then my objective is let's back off and let people do their jobs. And I'm here for an escalation resource when there are those challenges or conflicts or priorities that have to be reconciled. But I've found that the more you can delegate, provided you've got the right folks in place, the better. I think we all got presented with a little adversity. Was it March 11th or 12th when the pandemic hit? We took the world and turned it upside down. That's a time when you want to over-communicate. When things are tough, you need to really batten down the hatches and pull the team together. It might be a little overused, but find a category within the industry that you're passionate about. There's some folks that are natural tinkerers and just have to get to the core solution set and the core answer. Perhaps development is the right place. There are those folks that are really passionate about the future and creating a vision. Well, perhaps product management is the right sector for you. Then there are people that are just really interested in culture and human interaction. Well, perhaps human resources is the right silo for you. So once you've found that passion, that doesn't mean that's it forever. So I started on the go-to-market field marketing alliances side, and then pivoted over to other aspects of within business management. I know folks that have said, nope, this is my domain. I'm going to be the greatest human resources executive of all time, and that's where they've gone. So it's often overused, but find that initial area that you're passionate about. Because if you're not passionate about it, then you won't have that self-fulfillment and potential advancement. Be remembered for those that you helped. You helped to advance their careers. You might have helped them through a tough time. Whether it was within the enterprise I was leading or in other places. I think another piece of advice is networking, and not just networking for self-advancement, but networking to keep out there, maintain a robust group of individuals that you can lean on for advice, perhaps mentorship, et cetera. And in order to pay it forward, I have to do the same. So I've made myself available and do so whenever possible to my extended relationship sets. So, those folks that I worked with 5, 10, 15, 20 years ago, I attempt to still stay in touch with. But I hope to be remembered as somebody that's helped a lot of careers and a lot of folks get through some tough times and and land in a better place.
Hey, marketers, listen up. Before this, there was this. Our voice. It's how we shared knowledge, built communities. Well, guess what? Voice is back. That's why Spotify Advertising has published a new report, The Sound On Era, because audio moves culture forward. And if your brand wants to be heard, you need a Sound On strategy. Go to ads.spotify.com to download The Sound On Era and turn up the volume on your business.